Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Mazhani binti Mazlan and I'm from BA 24248. Here I am to present the topic of by Al-Murabahah. So what is Murabahah? Murabahah is a contract wherein the Islamic bank, upon request by the customer, purchase the asset from a third-party supplier or vendor and resell it to the customer either against immediate payment or in a deferred payment basis. Basically, Murabahah financing is the sales of good at cost plus an agreed profit. There are two types of murabahah that apply in Islamic financial. The first one is ordinary murabahah, a contract whereby a seller buy an asset without relying on any promise to purchase or to sell, or without a purchase undertaking or sell undertaking. Ordinary murabahah, where it includes first seller, first buyer or second seller, and second buyer. First, the first buyer or second seller buy a commodity from the first seller on a cash basis or on a deferred payment basis. Second, the first buyer or second seller pays the price to the commodity to the first seller either on a cash basis or on deferred payment basis. If the payment is made on a deferred basis through a murabahah contract, then the fact should be disclosed to the second buyer. Third, the second seller sells the commodity to the second buyer by disclosing the cost price of the commodity and whether he bought it from the seller through murabahah. And fourth, the second buyer pays the price either on a cash basis or a deferred basis. The second one is murabahah to the purchase orderer. Murabahah with what-art agreement. Murabahah to the purchase orderer refers to an agreement whereby the purchase orderer promises to purchase and identify and specific asset from a seller on murabahah terms upon the latter's acquisition of the asset. Murabahah to the purchase orderer. There include customer, motor vehicle company, and bank. First, the customer identify the motor vehicles to the acquired. Second, the bank purchased the identified motor vehicle from the owner on a cash basis. Third, the bank sells the motor vehicles to the customer at a cost plus profit on a deferred basis. And fourth, the customer pays the bank according to the terms of financing. Discussion on issue. Murabahah is trust-based contract and everything should be disclosed, including cost, price, and mode of payment. There are several issues related to Murabahah. The first one is Islamic bank as part on the principal Murabahah. An Islamic bank acts as a partner under a Murabahah contract. However, in practice, Islamic financial institutions keep their commercial roles to a minimum order, not to deviate from their traditional financial function. For example, the institution may avoid building up inventories of goods. However, Islamic financial institutions are exposed to the commercial risk attached to their own ownership of goods, which cannot be totally avoided under the Murabahah contract because of their role as a partner. Second, Islamic bank as seller or buyer of good on the principle of murabahah. An Islamic bank cannot open a letter of credit before purchasing the goods from the supplier based on the Sharia principle that one cannot sell what one does not have. In order to maintain Sharia compliance, the bank could enter another contract before executing the sales of the contract. Number 3, pricing in murabahah contract. Although interest-bearing transactions are prohibited under Sharia law, Islamic financial institutions are allowed to charge commissions on fee for service rendered and compensation penalties for default of payment. However, the profit margin in murabahah contract is subject to the controversy among Sharia scholars because the practice of calculating a profit margin resembles riba. In conclusion, murabahah is one of the most important trading contract under Islamic finance. The intention is to create a financial obligation from the purchase and sales of goods, where ownership is immediately transferred on sale. There are a few operational Sharia issues in the use of buy al-murabahah in trade financing. The murabahah purchase orderer, however, border on equity structure as there is a gap between purchase of good and eventually sales of good. During this gap, the owner of good will hold all the risks related to the goods.